Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have for you the Abrams X by 12 Go, the latest iteration of the American main battle tank, and we will do the usual format. We will do a 60-second speed build, we will do some pics, and then we'll get into the review. So let's crack on and build. Welcome back. What do you think then? Well, first of all, instructions. It's a proper book, and in general I found that proper books are a lot better, because if they put this much time and trouble into making a book, then generally they've applied the similar amounts of care and thought into building the model, into designing the build of the model, and in this particular case I'm not wrong. This is certainly above average to very good. The instructions in general are all very clear. Everything is laid out in a fairly consistent way. Again, it's quite nice. They haven't done a plan view. They've done the usual isometric view, but what they have done occasionally is they will change that isometric view to another angle, which is always quite useful. Some things can get a little bit lost in there, but overall, these are pretty good, I've got to say. No real complaints there at all. Right, nothing missing, which is always a good start, because I'm still waiting for the missing bits for the Leopard from 12 Go. Nothing is warped and nothing is discoloured, and while this may come across as grey on the camera, it's actually more of a blue in real life, and actually it was quite pleasant just to build in a slightly different colour. And as you can appreciate, because this is a fairly unique colour building, everything had to be there, because I certainly have no spares in this particular colour. The bricks and their fitting, to be honest with you, they do have a slightly softer feel, which to my mind sort of equates to a more premium material. They don't, how can I explain, the fitting on the bricks is good, but it's not rock tight. So there's some models that you put a couple of bricks together, and if you go wrong and you've got to take them apart, you need to lie down afterwards. Not so with this. But generally that's not a particular problem. There's some areas where you would assume a certain fragility. Obviously we'll ignore the aerials, because areas are always fragile. So the main areas concerned really are the side skirts, the angle at the front of the turret and the angle at the back of the turret. Now the ones at the back, they're reasonable, they're not too bad at all. The ones at the front here, on a lot of models, would only be held on by 1 or maybe 2 studs if you're lucky. In this particular case it's 4. So while they will come off, and believe me, I've knocked them off a couple of times, it's not every time if you knock them that they will come off, which is really quite pleasant. And the side skirts now, I think these are alright. They won't take a battering, but they will take the odd knock, which again is really nice. The overall look and design and accuracy to the source material, I have to say, again, is pretty good. Similar to the Armata that I did with 12 Go, and in comparison to the M1A2 that I did by Kazi, which I think is a centimetre difference in height and 2 centimetres in length on this, so pretty close. There is more detail on the Kazi one. However, when you look at the source material, it's almost like they've tried to make the X a little bit more aerodynamic. There are less lumps and bumps involved. So I'm not going to hold that against 12 Go, that there isn't, or doesn't appear to be the same level of detail. I think there is, just the source material is different. The only real issue I have with this tank, and I like the build process, I like the way it's, the philosophy behind it and how you put it together, but the problem I have with this is the decals. I had a similar problem with the Armata, also by 12 Go. I did a month and a half ago or something like that. While the instructions, the bricks all feels premium, the decals are cheap and nasty, and while it's not perhaps quite as apparent on this model, I think because of the colour, as opposed to the Armata, which was a dark green, but you end up with a sort of almost a ghosting around the actual detail in the decal. As I say, on here it's not too bad, it's not as noticeable. On the Armata it was horrendous, but on some of the bigger decals, and here I'm principally talking about on the side skirts, but also on that one there I can see it. While the top surface of the decal is shiny, glossing, what I was finding was that as I was taking the top peel off to leave the decal there, and it didn't matter how long I left the decal there, how hard I rubbed it, how fast, how slow I took it off, different angles, sometimes it was taking off that gloss patina off the top of the decal in just random places. It wouldn't always be as I was pulling off and you get to the start of the decal and it starts to come with it. No, you know, pull it off, everything's fine, and then a chunk comes off with it, but obviously still leaves the matte part of the decal there. So whilst it's not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination, and it is possibly only one of those things that the model builder themselves would notice, it is annoying. It is something that 12 Go really do need to look at. I would assume that they will outsource their decal printing to somebody. Well, they need to either get that other company to improve their quality control, or they need to change company where they get their decals printed, because for the premium end of the market, and that's very obviously where 12 Go are heading or aiming for, it's not good enough for a premium model for that sort of thing to happen. On a more positive note, I don't think I've got any other tank that will do this. And I know I've said in the past that sometimes I would add a plate between the turret and the body of the tank. Not in this case, I haven't. That's just how good the materials are and how well it's been designed. Huh? Yes, I know. I'm a child. I don't care. So, yeah, this overall, I have to say, is very, very good. If you can ignore the decals in a few places. Now, just as a reference point, I paid £24.06 for this, which I was very, very lucky because I think I bought these within a couple of days of them actually coming out, and whether something had gone wrong on the retailer's website, whether they were given incorrect prices, you will struggle to get that sort of price now. But at £24, if you see this or any of the 12 Go tanks, with the possible exception of the Panther, rip their arms off for it. They are, yeah, very, very good models in general, and at £24, that's just a no-brainer. You know, here's my credit card, take my money. But as a comparison, the Kazi M1A2, which is a very good tank, that was £45. So it's one of the more expensive ones that I have purchased. And these I've seen going now for around the 35-36 mark. So this does feel more of a premium product than the Kazi M1A2 does. There are, at the moment, this is the only Abrams X that I've been able to find. So if you don't have a lot of choice in the matter, if you want the X, then this is it. I think that the 35-36 is actually not too bad a price. It's pretty much where I would normally expect to see a tank like this. It does have a fully fitted out interior with engine. So overall, I think, yeah, this is, as I say, if you can get it for under 30 quid, under £30, then fantastic. I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. But expect to pay 35-36 for it, and it's still a very good tank, especially when you can do that. Right, there we go. That's the review for the 12 Go Abrams X, the latest American battle tank, or prototype battle tank anyway. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you again. You take care. Bye bye.